The passenger next to me accused me of stealing to get me thrown off the flight. He took my wallet. He stole it right out of my bag. Her voice screeched through the cabin. All the flight attendants stopped what they were doing, and every head turned toward me. Here I was, a 30-year-old electrical engineer who mostly kept to myself, under the accusing stare of everyone on the plane, and suddenly the villain of Flight 237. I looked at my accuser, a woman in her mid-60s with a perfectly polished look from head to toe, clutching her designer purse like it was her literal lifeline. "Ma'am," I said carefully, "I didn't touch your bag." But the damage was done. A flight attendant approached with a tight expression and forced politeness. "Sir, can we check your seat area?" "Of course," I said, not wanting to make the situation any worse. I lifted my backpack from under the seat and unzipped it so they could see the contents, my laptop, charger, and book, nothing else. "Check his pockets," she snapped, clearly not satisfied. "He shoved it in his pockets when I went to the restroom." I felt my face redden as the people around us whispered. "Ma'am," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I didn't take anything. Maybe you dropped it." "I don't drop things," she shot back. "I had it right here." The flight attendant sighed. "Ma'am, let's just take a look around before we make any assumptions." "Assumptions?" the woman barked. "That man is a thief." I swallowed the humiliation and turned my pockets out where I had my phone, earbuds, and boarding pass. Nothing else was there, but still, she glared at me in accusation. Several minutes later, she was still at it. She kept saying things like, "This is why people shouldn't trust strangers," and "He looks like the type," loud enough for everyone to hear. The flight attendants were trying to calm her down, but she wouldn't stop. Every word of accusation made a crack in my patience. I tried to read, but my hands trembled too much to hold the book steady. I hadn't done a single thing wrong, but everyone around me acted like I might have. Then, as if things couldn't get worse, one of the flight attendants returned with the captain's voice behind her. "If the issue isn't resolved, we'll need to turn the plane around before takeoff." That's when she doubled down. "He's trying to get away with it. Look at him fidgeting." They checked my bag again. Still nothing. This made her burst into tears loudly. "That wallet had my ID and all my cards in it. You don't know what this means." The passengers around us started murmuring their support to her. One woman handed her a tissue while hissing at me. "Just admit it already." I hadn't said more than a few words since it had all started, because nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. Eventually, the flight attendant leaned closer and said quietly, "Sir, I'm sorry, but until we sort this out, we'll need you to step off the plane." I couldn't believe it. I had done nothing wrong, and now I was the one being escorted out. The woman smiled, just a tiny bit, like satisfaction had slipped through the cracks of her performance. That's when I realized that was what she wanted, to get me off the flight. I stood up, trying to keep calm, when something fell from the overhead bin above us when I grabbed my bag. It was a small leather wallet that hit the armrest and dropped into the aisle. The woman gasped. "That's mine!" The flight attendant bent down and picked it up. "Did you put it there, ma'am?" she asked sharply. "Of course not," she said too quickly. The attendant's eyes narrowed as she asked, "Then how did it get above your seat? You were the only one handling your bag when we boarded." A man from a few rows behind said, "I saw her put something up there a few minutes ago." The color drained from her face. "Sir," the flight attendant said to the captain, "I think we've found our answer." "Ma'am," the captain said, "you've caused quite the disturbance. We will be escorting you off of the plane now." "No, you can't! This is ridiculous!" she practically shouted. Security arrived at that moment and she was led away, clutching her wallet. The people who had glared at me now offered up smiles and apologies. When I finally sat back down, the flight attendant said softly, "I'm sorry, sir. We will make sure you are compensated for the delay." I shook my head. "It's fine. Just thank you for finding the answers." As the plane lifted off the ground, I smiled to myself, not because I had won, but because for once, the truth hadn't stayed trapped in someone else's mouth.